Please say we don't have the green. Yep, good. Got the green bar of life. We don't have the red bar of death. We should be rocking and rolling. And welcome to the Dave Nordahl Show. We start this episode out with the Black Superman. Yes, the iconic hero. It's now got to be black. And for those of you wondering my future on this thing, again, I don't know how many more... What the fuck? Seriously? Oh my god, what the hell? Come on, climb up. It seems to be alright, I'll just be blurry for a while. I don't know, I probably should stop. Okay, there we go, we're green again. I seriously, I don't know what the fuck's going on with YouTube and all this other bullshit. Anyway. Yeah, we started this episode off, and is this my last live stream? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do live streaming on another platform or another channel and then just have this one videos only. But I did give my response in a smoking rant of what the future of the channel is and will I pull all my videos down. You'll have that soon enough. But let's not waste any further ado. Casting a black Superman isn't enough. Here's what I need to see from the reboot. This is wrote by Kennedy Hill. I wonder if I could find them on Twitter. Kind of an odd name. Let's see here. Okay, there's a bunch of them. They're all women. Let's see. Writer at the Newsette. Oh, and Pop Sugar. Okay. So this is the bitch that wrote the article. And these are her photos. Okay, so we know who we're dealing with here. And she has in her Twitter profile, she, her. So, yeah. Okay. So she isn't happy with the casting of a black Superman. By the way, black Superman is not black; he's white. If you want to have a son of Krypton be black, make up a new son of Krypton, but don't have Kal-El of Krypton black because he wasn't. Superhero stands have suffered a drought as COVID-19 has caused film delays, dried up Hollywood's stream of big-budget flicks. Disney's WandaVision has kept the fandom satiated. The new project announcements are still bound to cause a frenzy, especially when they concern arguably the biggest hero, Superman. Last week, news broke of J.J. Abrams is producing a black-red reboot of the Kryptonian hero, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, a professional race pimp. Why didn't he just go full-bore and hire Al Franken to write the fucking thing? Apparently he is an acclaimed social activist. Yeah, he's a professional race pimp. And he apparently has authored some Black Panther comics. Now, I do not read comics, but young Ripa, I forget the two numbers at the end of his name, he has. And he has said they are terrible. And he's not white, he's black. I feel bad about not knowing the last. I think it's Young Ripa 59. Anyway, you know who he is. He said they're terrible. So you give a guy that writes terrible comics the script to write the script for arguably the most famous superhero of them all. Fans have been waiting for a black Superman for years. Who are these fans? Where are they? Michael B. Jordan attempted to get one off the ground. Again, is it not possible for you to fucking... God, can you make another son of Krypton or something? It finally appears to be happening. The similarities between Superman and the Black experience have been present since the hero's inception. What? The story of Superman is the story of someone who is essentially God, who could rule this planet for his entire existence without challenge, and he doesn't. How does that have anything to do with the Black experience? The main recurring attribute of Superman's heroic identity is the unwavering feeling of otherness. Yeah, because he's an alien. You guys are Americans. You're part of the club. You're humans. You're part of the club. You're not Kryptonians. He's an alien who blends in with humanity and is even accepted by them at times of triumphs, yet he is unfailingly reminded of his outsider status when he fails to please the very society he risks his life to uphold. Well, Superman doesn't risk his life all that often. He's basically indestructible. There's like 6 beings in the galaxy that could take his ass out on Earth. Most viewers can relate to this plight, having felt like the odd man out at one time or another in their lives. Reimagining him as a black man allows filmmakers to tap into the lived tension in supporting a society that only has a place for you when it benefits them. Oh my God. You are not othered in this society. The only time you think you're othered is in your own tiny little mind. Admittedly, there is nothing wrong with a white Superman. I was the first to say that Henry Cavill was a knockout casting for the role. This new take enables Coates and Abrams to build a Superman that isn't an out-of-this-world character, but instead a powerful reflection of the daily existence of millions of Americans. Oh, yes. We other blacks so much. That's why they're in every facet of our society and in our daily lives. Please tell me the profession that black people cannot attain. I'll wait, because you won't find one. Okay, maybe the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. Maybe you got me there. An existence that is painfully displayed during last year's Black Lives Matter protests. They weren't protests, they were riots. Please get it right. And the world and the U.S. seem to be waking up to systemic inequality. Oh my God. But endured by black and brown communities. Well, it doesn't affect the Indian community. It doesn't affect the Eastern Asian community very much. Coates would do well to harness this momentum to trans Superman into an agent of representation instead of a run-of-the-mill savior. So, he has to be a genderqueer, non-binary, trans lesbian? Yeah, wasn't one of the Green Lanterns a black guy? At least that makes sense. It's also worthy to note that the representation and social commentary aren't the only areas of exploration afforded to a black Superman. As all aspects of black culture could and should be utilized. Oh my God. There is no black culture. It's all American culture. We're all one big happy fucking family, and we even have to keep you, our crazy, angry black cousin. Should be utilized to produce a full-bodied character, not limited to trite tropes. Here is the problem with Superman movies and why Batman movies are so much more interesting. Batman is literally a guy in a bat suit, okay? A very rich guy, but a guy. Superman is a story of basically God Almighty on Earth. Superman is indestructible, okay? I mean, does he see vigilantes as a welcome alternative to perpetual over-policing? Or does he forsake his community to become a hero for every man, aka white men? These are questions a non-marginalized hero could never explore on screen. Oh my God. You're not marginalized right now. Black people are not marginalized. The only marginalization that is taking place is, again, in your mind. I will tolerate the only trope I will tolerate is a short scene where Superman jokes that he can mask his identity with a simple pair of glasses because all black people look the same. Ha 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 ha. Shut up. Either way, the story has the potential to be rife with innovative characterization and real-world politics on par with Black Panther. Black Panther did not have any real-world politics because, you know, Wakanda was about 500 years into the future. If DC isn't ready to tackle the nuance of a black hero and instead casting a black Superman to tout a shallow stab at diversity, this will fail, by the way. This will fail, which is what cyborg actor Ray Fisher believes the move to be. Superman, oh yes, let's take the political opinion of a goddamn actor. Then we don't need it. Not only because it would be a missed opportunity packaged as a milestone for inclusion, this will be hated. Look, I'm fine with Cyborg being a black guy because I think he's always been a black guy in the comics. Again, I don't know. Those of you that read comics, please fill me in. Again, is it so hard to create another character? Is it so hard not to have another son of Krypton? Why is it that we have to change Superman? Why can't you create another character? Hell, you could even go so far as to say Krypton was racist because we don't know a lot about it. And he was from a lower caste. You know, I don't know much about Krypton and I can't read comic books, so somebody else fill me in. But again, would it be so hard to create a new character? Hell, you could even have him and Superman fight at some point, or maybe have him be judged a little harsher than the white Superman. There's your art. There's your conversation. Anyway, not just blackwashing Superman. A great movie forces its characters to bask in their feats and faults. Locked in a constant grapple with their driving force, the premise of a black Superman fighting a canon villain to save society, without mention of his thoughts on whether this society is worth saving, would fail on all fronts of the story. That's not the story of Superman. And again, I'm an idiot when it comes to comics. Or completely ignorant. I'll go with that. The story of Superman is somebody who could rule this planet like a god, okay? And he chooses not to. The idea of are these people worth saving is a story of Transformers. The premise of a black Superman... Okay, no, I already read that. If DC wants a simple story, stick with a simple character, a white man with no reservations about serving his country, because when he really thinks about it, the country has always done the same for him. Oh my God. YouTube has reopened the comments section. Let's take a look. The problem is that this almost leads anyone not going to see the movie to be called names and insults by the filmmakers. The audience who pays with their money has the right to choose what they want to watch. Always. You mean like the new Ghostbusters, Charlie Angels? Yeah. I love how they tell us these movies weren't made for us, and then they get angry when we don't show up. When you aren't smart enough or creative enough to make a new character that the public will appreciate, you take an established character and make him or her black, gay, whatever the cause of the moment is, and call it inclusive. I never understood why we have to recast iconic characters with people of color or changing the gender of iconic characters. Instead of a black Superman, why not create a new character, exactly what I said, that would be more in tune with today's society, and push that. Not interested whatsoever. Race changing is sloppy and not an intriguing idea whatsoever. I also do not understand why you can race change from a white character, but if you change a character to white, you are now committing a racist offense. If Abrams wants to make a Steel movie, go right ahead, but we all know who Clark Kent is. I think I should never hear about black cultural appropriation again. Just imagine the uproar if a white man was going to play Black Panther. Exactly. You know, the reason Black Panther worked was because Black Panther was set in the comics with an all-black cast. It's just, oh, God. One last one. When I see things like this, I cringe. Making Superman black and Doctor Who a woman and Spider-Man Hispanic is kind of insulting. With Superman, it's like Hollywood is saying, here, black people, here's a secondhand superhero for you. We're done with this guy anyway. See, we're being inclusive and diverse. What I'd rather see is a new character built from the ground up with their own storyline. Someone who becomes a hero and earns respect because of their action and the way they comport themselves. And not just because they have a big S on their shirt. This would be someone we come to know and like. Someone who has a background and we can relate to. Someone real people like us could relate to and get behind and support so the storyline grows and continues. Again, and yeah, they hired Ta-Nehisi Coates to write this. Once again, why not? Here's a thought. Here's a real thought. Here's an idea for an interesting movie if you want to have a black Superman. Why not have the movie start in, let's say, the 1920s, and this black son of Krypton crashes to Earth. Again, I'm just spitballing here, and he's raised by some black sharecroppers, and he hides his powers, and he sees the world that is in, and it creates resentment. And then that resentment, so he doesn't use his powers to help anyone. He just kind of lets bad shit happen. And then, let's say Obama's elected, maybe feels a bit of hope, but he's still got, decades of bitterness. Or hell, he could have crashed. I don't know how long Kryptonians would live on Earth. I know every depiction of the future, Superman can live to be hundreds of years old, so there's that. Maybe he landed on Earth in the antebellum South. Anyway, he's bitter, he's angry, and he goes from Obama to Trump. Let's do some real life shit in this. And then with that, he decides maybe to start hurting people. Or maybe he sees some fucked up racist shit in an alleyway one night and it breaks him. And then Superman, and then he sees this white son of Krypton getting all this good press and everybody loves him, and it breaks him. And he becomes the villain. And he starts hurting people. And then Superman has to step in and they fight and they duke it out, and Superman shows him that humanity is capable of growth and blah, blah, blah. Just saying. Oh, wait, no. That story, I take that back. All these leftist Twitter idiots will be like, that's the white savior complex. Fuck. Woke. Or I'll give you this again. What if Lex Luthor or Batman or somebody, attempts to kill him with like a kryptonite bullet or something, and he's saved by a white person? Or that, whatever. Christ's sakes, I came up with a story in the fucking on a live stream. Christ's sakes. Okay. Next up, we're gonna watch. This is the best Italian or best homemade pizza with an Italian lesson in Italy.
A Saint-Tropez, la luna si desta con te. E balla il twist, contando le stelle nel cielo. Ma la stella
What the hell am I watching?
ancora più bella non è cielo qui vicino a me. A Saint-Tropez. Ma la stella ancora più bella non è cielo qui vicino a me. A Saint-Tropez.
I can't decide if she's hot or not.
Twist, twist, tutto il mondo. Twist, twist, sta impazzendo. Vuol tornare, una lunga notte ancora mai più scordare a Saint-Tropez. La gente si chiede perché tu balli il twist portando un vestito.
What the hell am I watching? And will this be copyright struck?
Ma l'amore è sempre quella se tu balli il twist. Vuoi sembrare ancora più bella, ma l'amore è sempre quella se tu balli il twist.
Ciao. So I found a zip and a button and some more rags, and so aside from this top, which you've already seen that I sewed by hand, then I also sewed myself this headband and some shorts. I'm so happy with them. You may think, why are you so excited about shorts? But shorts are really quite difficult to make, or rather I found out that they were, so I'm quite excited. I also thought I would make some pizza just to go with the whole, I don't know, retro theme. Is pizza retro? Well, I guess it's a classic, isn't it? Yeah. So many of you are studying Italian, so I shall talk you through this recipe in Italian and English. But as always, you can find the recipe on 𝔴𝖶𝖍𝖚.com under the blog section. Allora, dopo tutti questi anni in Italia sono diventata molto esigente per quanto riguarda la pizza. So after all these years in Italy, I have become quite fussy when it comes to pizza. Voglio una pizza leggera. I want a pizza that is light, facile da digerire, easy to digest, un po' croccante, a little crispy, ma senza rinunciare a quelle bolle di aria nella crosta, but without sacrificing those bubbles of air that you get in the crust. In the last month, I have been trying to refine my ideal recipe. Nell'ultimo mese ho provato a raffinare la mia ricetta ideale. Ovviamente ci sono 1000 modi per fare la pizza. Obviously there are 1,000 ways to make a pizza. Dopo aver vissuto in Toscana, Lazio, Campania, after having lived in Tuscany, Lazio, Campania, e aver girato tutta l'Italia, and having traveled all over Italy, dal nord alla Sicilia, from the north to Sicily, posso dire che quasi tutti gli italiani concordano. I can say that almost all Italians agree che la patria della pizza sia Napoli. That the homeland of pizza is Naples. Crosta alta, a high crust, base sottile, a thin base.
I may get shot for this, but the basis of pizza is deep dish. So it's Chicago.
Ingredienti semplici, freschi.
And Detroit has some good pizza too.
La margherita, fresh, simple ingredients like the margherita. Quando l'impasto è veramente buono, when the dough is really good, non c'è bisogno di appesantire la pizza con mezzo frigo.
All right, I'm sick of this Italian. Let's see what this cooking video has to say. Wait, what? Why is the paper towel there? What? What? Whoa, what? Whoa, hold on. That's beef? Dude. Your beef? She's gone. It's over, man. Don't cook that shit. That almost looks like ground chicken. I love chicken burgers. No, don't get extra moisture out of there. No, you'll need that. I never actually add shit. I try not to add shit to my. That's not beef. I don't know what the hell that meat is. It's too red for. Is it turkey? Is it pork? It's not fucking beef. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I don't add all this shit to my burgers usually. Occasionally I will. Depends on my for my cooking show I will. But if it's just me, like if you came to my house for burgers, I don't add this crap. Oh, get your fucking hands in there. This is either ground chicken or ground pork. It could be ground chicken thighs. I think that's what this is. I think it's ground chicken thighs. It's definitely not beef. I'll say that. If that's beef, motherfucker, I'll fucking suck Don Lemon's dick. Did he steal this technique from me? Alright. Ooh, That is a thought, Hammerhead. But why would you call it ground beef? Just call it ground veal then. And if I was going to the expense to use veal patties, I'd do better than American cheese. And if I was doing veal, I wouldn't make salsa. This is a chicken burger, which is fine. But don't, I don't know, maybe, whatever. That's actually a shallot. Maybe we're having issues because this guy does not know English. That's not a goddamn onion. That's a shallot. I mean, I don't mind what he's doing, but it's just... My complaint is your directions are all fucked up. Now, I wouldn't make this particular salsa just because I don't like olives. But shallots, fine. I don't know if I have or not. So he's basically making a white sauce. Kind of. My only complaint with that is don't use pre-ground black pepper. Dude, that's not mixed well enough. You're not supposed to use cabbage. Iceberg lettuce is the only acceptable greenery on the burger. Okay, finish mixing it then. It was what it was. It wasn't god-awful, but it wasn't anything I'd write home about. And again, I don't think that was a chicken burger. If I had to guess, he ground up chicken thighs because chicken thighs have more fat instead of breast meat, which is notoriously lean, and that's what he made it out of. That was not beef, though. Not a goddamn chance. If that was actually beef, like there was some way to prove that, I will let the Humanist report the guy Mike Faggy Fury whatever, the guy who hosts it. I'll let him come right on my fucking face. Sorry, but that was not beef. And again, chicken burgers are fine. I love chicken burgers. I mean, they're great. I actually like chicken burgers more than I like turkey burgers. But that was not goddamn beef. Not a chance.
Now he sits in his cell, which is ironic because he's an incel.